Welcome all my subscribers, viewers alike. Something I've been thinking about. Everybody's on this big kick about self-reliance, which is definitely something to learn about. I've been trying to learn about that, survival in general. But one thing I've never seen yet on YouTube is I've hardly seen any videos on training kids for survival. Yes, they have the Boy Scouts out there. For the girls, they have the Girl Scouts. But what about actually taking it upon yourselves to teach kids about training and survival, say in a grid down situation or any other kind of survival situation that arises? Regardless of urban areas, the training is still a must for youngsters, because just because adults learn it, well, what about the kids? I have not seen too much out there. My wife got me this one gift, and I thought it was actually pretty nifty, so I decided to make a video on it. It's mainly for getting kids prepared for survival. This is the Special Forces Survival Kit. Well, it's empty now, but I'll show you what everything came in here. My wife picked this up at Barnes & Noble. I believe the price was around 20 bucks for the kit. I made sure I asked her about that because when I seen it, she got a chuckle out of it when I opened it, and I thought it was kind of cool. First thing, part of the contents that came with it, U.S. Army Survival Manual. I've actually thumbed through this, and I have a book that's very close to this one, but I believe this one goes into better detail for kids. It covers everything from simple fire starting to different edible plants, just all kind of survival stuff that kids would need to know. Yes, a lot of people out there are going to say the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts cover part of this. They do to a certain extent. The book I have, which like I said is close to this one, but that one actually covers serious wounds, deep lacerations, how to sew them up yourself. This book, I've thumbed through this one. I haven't got actually a chance to sit down and read this one. I know it doesn't cover that, but I don't think youngsters should actually know how to suture their own wounds. But it does go through a lot of stuff for kids that need to learn survival and being taught on prepping. Some of the other stuff that was included in here, which I thought was actually pretty nifty, which definitely would make it good for youngsters. Something simple as the little container. It's they indicate in the instructions like this is a waterproof container. As you notice, you unscrew the lid. It actually does have a container in here with a gasket that would hold matches, keep them dry. It does have a flint on the side. Something else, you got a small mirror in here, and it's got a thermometer in Fahrenheit degrees. One of the other cool things I noticed on this little thing has a built-in whistle. So many of these that you can buy on the internet nowadays, I haven't seen any like this one where it actually has the dry-proof container for your matches and the built-in whistle. The thermometer, I particularly probably would never use it. I wouldn't trust it, being that, you know, such a cheap kit. But just the ability to actually be able to store the matches in here and have a safety whistle with even a little lanyard that would provide you possibly rope for any little situation that you could use. So I would probably throw this in my bug out bag or just like a little day hiking pouch. I figure, hey, for a kid's toy, I'd have tried this underwater. It does actually keep the match compartment or whatever you would stuff in that little compartment pretty well dry. Something else I've noticed, it actually came with a decent compass. I've checked it against my actual hiking compass. It is actually accurate. It has everything from the movable dial to set degrees. It has the bearings on there. It has all your direction finding. Even comes with a nice little lanyard attached. I haven't unpacked it yet, but you know, just for a backup compass, you know, for even being a whole $20 kit, I would probably take it just for a backup. Not to rely on this one, but why not? You know, for a child, if you're training them on survival or outdoor wilderness or even urban wilderness to survive, something like this, because, you know, as long as they're accurate, why not? You know, that's the only thing, though, I would definitely, if you purchase a kit like this, check them against your actual compass to make sure how accurate they are. Something else I noticed, simple flashlight, but this isn't not a traditional battery operated flashlight. They have a button here on the top. If you hold the bottom, there's a handle here. Hold it in, release it. Now it's a crank light. Crank it so many times, runs a little generator on the inside. Now you got an actual little flashlight. For simplicity, it actually, I believe, would be something even good for adults to have something like this. Maybe even a little bigger version. But hey, say the power went out, you're in an urban environment, everybody can use a flashlight. As far as kids, why not? You take them on a hiking trip, camping trip. This is going to be the best thing that you can have out there, out in the middle of nowhere, is a non-battery powered flashlight. Regardless whether you have a small solar panel that will recharge them, it's still not going to recharge them at night. If you're out in the day, your light gets cut on for some reason, you lost all power, now you have no way of recharging it besides, you know, something as simple as this to be crank operated. Something else I've noticed, all adults, especially if like I live in North Florida, during the summertime it gets hot as anything. I noticed these are cold and hot packs. I wouldn't actually use these. I would probably give them my kids to play with when we're out in the yard or out in the garden, but they do seem okay. I just wouldn't trust the seams on these. They feel a little too flimsy, a little too dry of a plastic. But I read everything that came with them, and they are an all-purpose flexible water pack. They're reusable and they're insulated. One of these days I might just do a video on this just to see. We might just give them a try. We'll just see how much they can actually handle before busting. But hey, even, you know, in a survival situation on training kids, why not give them something like this to at least get them adapted to learning water isn't one of the most essential elements that you're going to have with you. I haven't seen nobody, you know, going to teach a kid to use a I believe it's Berkeley water filters, and who's going to tote something like that? Regardless, some of these water filters now that come with the water bottles, if I'm hiking, you know, I'm out, but even by a stream, I'm not going to trust some of these non-name brand filters that are supposed to purify your water without actual laboratory results on them. So carrying your own water is definitely going to be a must. But hey, for included in the kit, why not? Let them play with them. Maybe actually put these in a little pack. Let them take them out with them. If nothing else, an adult can bring adequate water, and a child can have one of these. At least it kind of reassures them that they have something to drink, especially out like hiking or on the trails. Something every adult, I've seen them talk about them. This is, let me check my notes, this is a Swedish flint, I believe is what they call it. I looked at this, played around with it, I haven't got to try it out yet. I mean, this is basically, I consider this a child's toy, but just like a lot of people say on Harbor Freight's website that their flints don't work. But this should be a magnesium rod, I believe. This still, you can be, if you read the manual, I know it has a section on fire starting. I will do a video. I am going to go buy one of the Harbor Freight magnesium rods and actually try it. There are a couple videos on YouTube about it, and there are a lot of people that say automatically that those flints don't work, or the magnesium rods. Well, this, I've actually played around with it, or not this one, but one close to this, and it does work. So why not train your kids or youngsters to learn to start fires with something simple as one of these. Society goes down, if you're out hiking, if something happens and you're in the middle of nowhere, you need to have fire, whether to cook, purify water, whatever the case is. Sometimes a lighter's not as handy as it is as an urban environment. So why not, you know, train your kids on how to use these things. I think everybody should definitely have that technique of starting a fire, whether with one of these or even getting down to, which I believe describes it in the book, on using a bow, what is it called, bow starting, fire starting, where you actually use the bow and the little piece of wood. I've seen that done. It's something else I've been wanting to try myself to get acquainted to how that works. Something else to, you know, like I said, this is just a quick pointer on some that the stuff comes in the kit. Last but not least, I know every adult, or at least majority of them, like saying the weather that we have now in Florida. If I was out where my in-laws live in Osceola National Forest, if I get lost out there, it's 5 counties deep. This is a Mylar blanket, solar blanket. This is a lightweight one that comes with it. 52 inches by 82.5 inches wide, or long, should I say. You know, just for the heck of it, I would throw this one into my pack. Yes, it is the lightweight one, but you get in a hypothermia situation, body heat is essential. Why not teach your kids the same thing? You know, for a small bug out bag or even camping bag or survival bag, I think this would definitely be something handy to get them acquainted with. We're not even going to talk about the fact that you can use these to signal for help by using the reflectiveness of this, spreading it out like a tarp to help catch rainwater if in a situation you could not find purified drinking water to drink or the water around you is contaminated. There's many uses for these, and a lot of the experts or any of the guys that go camping a lot, I know this is going to be one of the essentials that they would have in their pack. It's small enough they could pack away in a little fanny pack or definitely a backpack. Why not have one of these? Excuse me, guys. But like I said, the whole kit, it was $20. She found it at Barnes & Noble. I figured after reading it, you know, I discussed it with my wife, and I know right now my youngest one, or my middle one, just turned 4. I think in another year she should be at the age where I'm going to start introducing her to some kind of survival techniques, such as fire starting without lighters. But she would also know she cannot start it without mommy and daddy around, because I'm not, you know, going to train kids to be pyros. But I believe that kids do need the training, because just because technology keeps taking on, what is technology in a grid down situation? If you're out in the middle of the forest and there's no cell phone towers, how good is your phone going to be to you? Or that fancy laptop that we keep around, or whatever the case is. GPS, can we actually rely on them all the time? Grid down situation, it's not going to ever do any good. If the whole grid goes down, there's no satellites go down, what are we going to do to survive? This is something that everybody should consider. Definitely leave me some comments, let me know your thoughts on this, how a simple kit like this can be improved. Definitely give me a rating. You know, if you feel like this video is just a waste of time, give me thumbs down. If you think this video is actually somewhat informative and I do have a point on training kids to at least survive, because not every one of us, you know, and I'm not going to say nothing against the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, but if we don't want to send our kids to that, you know, one of those programs, why shouldn't we take the time as adults and parents and train our own kids on how to survive in simple situations? Thank you guys for watching. Hey, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, Masses32210. Thank you so much for watching, guys.